Hey, Ursula here. As you can see, I've been very busy. The seedlings are hardening off right now. Some of them have been up potted, some are just going to go direct into the ground. A lot of different things here. I'm delighted my chives came back. I didn't think they survived the winter. I still have some work to do. Yeah, it was cold and then it was really hot. So we went from like 38 degrees to 90 just like overnight. So the covers need to be put away. The storms and the freezes have destroyed any chance of blueberries this year. And we've learned that our squirrel likes to pick the strawberries and eat them as soon as they start to turn pink. So, not sure you can see it from here. But we've determined that a little cage like that is what we're going to have to do to keep the squirrel out of them. I don't think we're going to get much. So far we've gotten 2 strawberries. That's not much. We'll hit up the farmer's market and buy some from a farmer. It's kind of sad, but maybe next year. Maybe next year. One kind of cool thing that happened. We had drought 2 years running. And the currant bushes didn't do too well. The other part is they're used to having shade from the tree that's down. And a really cool thing is the birds replanted some of the red currants right there. So I'll have currants in a better location maybe in a couple years. But it's kind of cool that they did that we didn't lose all the bushes. There we go. Sorry, I have a tendency to wander, don't I? Okay, so those are the currants. They're next to some yarrow, and we still have some columbine blooming, although with the 90-degree days, I don't expect that to last. Let's go see what else is going on. Foxglove are blooming. These guys need some water. It is really hot. So they need some water. We'll do that as soon as I get done filming. But yeah, I'm really pleased. I don't have anything to go in here for next year because foxgloves are biennials, which means they're a 2-year plant. So after this year, unless they reseed, they're done. So we'll see what happens here. These are the French fingerlings. For the most part, they're doing okay. They had 2 real close calls with almost freezes. But they seem to be doing okay, except for one got snapped, and also the squirrel was digging in there. The squirrel likes to live on top of the roof and climbs down the porch here regularly and digs in things. These are the last of my potatoes that needed to be planted. I got out the big giant grow bag. I like that one. And a really tiny one that I was gifted to put some of the rest of the potatoes in. Let's go see where the rest are. Okay, these guys I've got in partial shade. You can see they're doing really well. A couple of them, I don't know if we'll get a potato or not. It's okay. And the little fence that I put in is really helping. The deer have been through, and I'll show you what they destroyed. They leave the potatoes alone though, which is nice. These are all blue potatoes. And then up here, these are red potatoes. They have a red center. It does look like the mulberry didn't die completely, although there's sections that need to be carved out. I was waiting to see what is actually alive and what's not. It is a very late bloomer, as it were. So we have that. These got planted late. These are the Yukon potatoes. Farmers in our area are reporting that the Yukons are seeing some kind of blight, and so not to expect Yukons this year. Instead, they're planting Kennebecs, and I'll keep that in mind in case mine get diseased. But I saved my own seed potatoes, and they looked fine when I planted them. So we'll see if they come up. This heat is not so fun for them. This is just a little too much heat and too much light. Let's go to the way back and take a look at the rest. All right, this is my makeshift bed. It looks like one of the potatoes did not pop up. These are the Lehigh that I picked up this year, and we're trying the Ruth Stout method with this growing in the straw. The deer haven't been through this section so much. There's a lot of open area for them to come through, though. In the back here, I've been pulling thistle, and now that the thistle is gone, the burdock is coming up, and pokeweed. And I'm gonna have to get back here again and carved up this section so that we can get the weed pressure down. I've got hazelnuts growing here, and this one was planted at the same time, and it's not doing as well. It just really honestly doesn't look like it's doing well at all. And I have a hunch my neighbor puts chemicals on his lawn, and it comes down and leaches into this section, because this shouldn't be this destroyed and yellow looking. So that may need to get dug up and put into a different location if I want to keep it. I may try taking a cutting off of this one and just getting another one started from scratch. I've yet to fill in my holes here with marigolds and feverfew and dill, but since the deer haven't been back here so much, I'm not too worried about it. They're sitting on the front porch. They can get moved back here before the next rain. I need to start tossing compost piles again. So far, so good. The groundhog or skunk has not been coming up through this section, and a cat has been using this area as a litter box, so that should deter any rodents and or hopefully skunks. I'm going to show you my weed patch. These are the cleavers, and I fight these every single day. All right, this whole yard was covered in these. Apparently the deer like to lay in them and spread the the seed. It looks like tiny ticks, but it's a burr. They spread those burrs everywhere. I pulled a whole bunch off my own clothing from last year's that didn't hit the ground yet. So yeah, hopefully we get some of these cleavers out of here. They're really easy. They come up real easy. And these are the potatoes I have in plastic containers. You can tell which one was planted later than the others, but they've been doing real good back here. They get a little bit of shade from the Bradford. The Bradford is going to get cut next year, and I am going to graft a real pear onto the stump. So far, this whole section that had been weeds, I've been putting cardboard down, and my leftover potatoes that I had no home for ended up in grow bags, and these just got planted. So hopefully those take and they don't bake. In the afternoon, when the sun comes from the west, this tree shades them from the worst of it. And it's actually quite comfortable to be back here and to actually work. I've removed a lot of cleavers from the edge here. You can see they're still back there. That is not my land. I can't do anything about that. But from what I can control, I am. The neighbors left a section. And that house is empty. The people that were in there were renters and moved out. So no more trampoline and no more kids screaming. It makes it easier to film, but it's kind of sad that it's empty. All right, so what else is going on? Because of our late freezes, I don't see anything on the Asian pear that's going to be pickable. And in the front yard, there's only 2 apples theoretically on the apple tree. So it affected, I guess, most of the state. The farmers are reporting that don't expect much because of the late frost. It's not even wasn't a late frost, it was a freeze. So I'll be weeding this section here. And what I'm doing with it is trying to level a section here so that I can put in a garden bed right up here. This will get planted later. It is not something that's going to get planted at the beginning of summer, much as I'd like it. Otherwise, I just don't have time. And the tomato cages are here because what I'll do is I will put those in the plastic planters. They will help support the tomato plants. These are all raspberry and a purple majesty in these pots. So, and I've got my box of straw back here to cover the ground if I can't find enough wood chips. Basically this year, because things are so tight monetarily, we're using what we got, and what we got is weeds. So instead of putting soil down, we're putting weeds down to level a section and then scraping soil to put on top in the garden beds. I debated on planting onions in here and decided they would do better in the front. So I'm putting those in I have a grow tower. And let's take a look at what else is going on here. This box needs to get carved up to lay down to cover the bare soil. Mother Nature does not like bare soil. These are all daffodils that have scrunched down, and I need to weed that side garden. I can't plant anything in there until I get those weeds out of there. It looks like there's a couple of peas in there, but not what I planted. Not as many as I planted. The germination was very, very poor, and I suspect the weather had a lot to do with that. Today's effort is I removed all the cleavers from behind my cinder block garden, and they are now in a black bin drying out. And you can see there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be tomatoes put. That's an old bed frame, the bottom, and it makes a great tomato cage, but right now it is totally covered in cleavers, and that has to get removed. I discovered I have a pretty good black raspberry crop over here once I get the cleavers out, which is kind of nice because where I normally would reach and pick, the deer ate it down to nothing. So for right now, I know it's really bright, but this section right here has leeks, and they may survive, they may not. It's really dry up here. Like I said, I need to get up here and water, and I just put these bent up tomato cages in here to protect these guys, but you can see this was a beautiful black raspberry, and it has been eaten down to nothing, just nothing. So yeah, I need to get in here and get this out. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to need gloves because the black raspberries will scratch up your arms something fierce. and I need to grab the cleavers from the roots. Although they stick to your arm just fine. This needs to get done before they flower and go to seed. So that's next on my list. You may notice my mess. I'm laying down weeds to level my bed before I put the cardboard on. This area, I got the bed put in yesterday and set up, and yeah, it was really not level, so that needs to happen. And then because the deer are coming through, I am going to have to basically build a cage around it with those metal posts and some either netting or some hardware cloth, depending on what I can find. Like I said, we're trying not to buy anything, trying to use what we have. One good thing that has happened is the lettuce and the spinach are doing gangbusters. I'm really, really happy about that. So we've got spinach and lettuce, and then a second batch of lettuce, and it's almost time to plant a third batch of lettuce. So we're trying to every month or every 3 weeks put in another batch of lettuce and just go around in a circle, because after 12 weeks lettuce bolts. So that's what's going on here. I've got the cleavers out of here. So yeah, we'll see. There's more I want to get done underneath this tree, and you can see where the deer ate. And yeah, we gotta do some protecting up here, so we'll see how that goes. Take care, everybody. Happy gardening and enjoy the season. Take care.